Lex back from Lextasy Productions for part 2 of this tutorial on fractal over text. I don't really want to be finishing this tutorial today because it is 70 degrees out. It is so awesome, and it's only March 24th. But I've got to get this done so I can have some fun. So what we have here is a finished text layer that we made in part 1. As you can see, it reflects off the floor. Now we're going to go make the fractal element, and what we'll want to do is go to Layer, New, and we're going to create a solid. Let's go with this purple color here, and I'll name it fractal. Actually, what we want to do, let's just make a new composition, and we'll call it fractal. Because what we're going to do later is pre-compose it. Now we'll go to the new layer, solid. We'll call it fractal thing. Click up here to select the ellipse tool. And in the mask properties, go ahead and set your mask expansion to -87 for now. Go ahead and duplicate the layer by hitting Control D. And then selecting both masks, go ahead and feather each one. Until you get a nice fadeaway ellipse. Okay, that looks good. Now I have this pre-composed or pre-rendered element here that's got some sparkly stars or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and bring that in the middle here. Oops. And we're going to go resize this to fit kind of inside this deal. That'll work. And then duplicate the layer. We'll set our track mats. The top one, we're going to set that to an alpha matte right here. And then we're going to set the bottom one to an alpha invert. Okay, we cannot see the pre-rendered element yet because right here the eye's not turned on that top ring. So go ahead and click that. Now you got a really cool purple halo glow around these star elements. Okay, after we resized this, we're going to add a tint effect to this because I want to change the color a little bit differently than the halo. So select both of these elements and go to color correction, tint, and throw it on there. It's a little bit tricky to do it on both. It's got a mind of its own. See, yeah, it doesn't do it right. But you're going to map white to this purple, kind of like a pinkish purple color. And then, you know, just Control C, copy that, and then paste it on the bottom one. Okay, the fractal element is mostly completed. We're going to go ahead and layer or highlight all of these first and go to Layer, Pre-Compose, and we'll call it the fractal wipe. Move all attributes into the new composition. Now, you've got your fractal wipe. All the elements right here in the fractal wipe composition, and then here's your text layer. I want you to go to the text layer tab, hit the project tab. Now that we've pre-composed that fractal wipe, just highlight it here and drag it down, and let's place this right above the text. And we'll move it to about right here. Let's change the order of these. Let's bring the floor down to the bottom. Let's take the camera down to here. And let's move our light down to there. Time to have a sip of my Cherry 7-Up. After talking all this time, you get a little dehydrated. Now, this looks stupid because we've got this black hole, but that's just because the animation doesn't start till you scrub along to about the 1 second mark. Now, duplicate the layer, fractal wipe, by hitting Control D. Okay, see, we've got this line here. Now to get rid of that, set that bottom fractal wipe to alpha matte, and it just makes that disappear. I mean, gosh, I love After Effects. Well, mostly. Next thing we want to do on the list is give this actually the real fractal noise that it needs, because remember, these are pre-rendered elements, and you know, I want to make it my own. Now, to do this effect, we're going to go to Blur and Sharpen, select CC Vector Blur, and then throw it on both fractal wipes. Now, you'll go to each vector blur, and we'll turn them up to 14. And then turn this one to 14. Look at that. That is bad to the ass. It's got a kind of a lightning and smoke look to it. Now we've created this, let's keyframe our fractal to wipe over the text. So we're going to scrub to the 0 second mark, select both wipes, and we'll move it off to the screen. But we want to keep things centered, so see this little square here, the drag handle? Make sure that's in the center of the text. Now we'll set that keyframe here under transform position. And we're going to drag this to maybe 4 seconds is how long it'll take to cross over the text. And we'll drag the fractal over, keeping that line centered. And then we'll let go. We'll click and drag this to see how this looks. It looks pretty good. It's not, I mean, the line is centered, but the fractal itself is not. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I think that will be fine. Now, this, let's just play this here. RAM preview. See, I don't like the way this looks right now. It just, there's no life to it. It covers the text as it goes over. It just seems like it's two-dimensional.